Hello, everyone. Thank you for your patience as we work through some technical difficulties. My name is Courtney Pollock, and I am the Customer Marketing Coordinator for SWK Technologies. I'd like to welcome you to our webcast, Revolutionize Your Online Sales, Modern Strategies for Selling B2C, presented by Seth Kuhn and Jenna Gallardi. Before we get started, let's go over some housekeeping items. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise to a minimum. However, throughout the webinar, you can submit any questions you have. If you'd like to submit a question, look for the questions section in your GoToWebinar panel, and we'll answer all questions at the end of the presentation. We're also recording this presentation, and it will be distributed tomorrow to all attendees, as well as those who registered but were unable to attend. And finally, we would appreciate your participation in our polls and closing survey. With that said, we're thrilled that you've taken some time out of your busy day to be with us on this webinar. SWK is here to help you fulfill your vision of a smarter and easier way to run your business by providing you tools, support, software, and industry knowledge whenever you need it. We're so excited to be joined by our partners at BigCommerce and Feedonomics today. So whether you're here to explore a new solution or you're just here to learn, do not hesitate to ask any questions you have. And lastly, as a quick reminder, SWK is constantly sharing important updates and software tips and tricks on our social media channels. Check us out and give us a follow on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube so you don't miss out. Okay, that's enough from me. Let's hand it over to Seth and Jenna for the main event.
Hey everybody, Seth Kuhn, solution architect at SWK. This is a quick agenda for what we're going to go through today. Just going to review a few kind of strategies, things we're seeing as far as what you should be tackling. We're not going to get into the holiday prep too much, which obviously it's some important time to be doing that, maybe even a little late. But we're going to go through those items you can see there, personalization, talk a little about influencers, AI, adding more sites and marketplaces, and then we'll get into some of the Feedonomics stuff. It has some great strategies for optimizing your data feeds and even advertising on those different channels. Next slide. Oh, sorry, we're starting with the poll.
Yeah, we're going to kick it off with the poll right from the beginning. So we're asking, which describes your current online practice? Are you currently have no or online presence? Do you have products listed, but maybe you don't have the option to order? Do you have your site, but is it a bit outdated and older? Are you in a modern site, or are you really out there? Are you selling on various online marketplaces with multiple sites? And so thank you for everyone who's answered the poll so far. I'm going to leave it open for just a little bit longer.
It's like a nice mix of options.
Yes. And we're going to close the poll in just a second. So if you haven't had a chance to put your answer in. Okay, let's see what these look like, Seth.
Yeah, so it looks like quite a nice mix.
Really far across the board. Yeah. Okay.
So the first thing we wanted to cover is personalization, right? So your customers are coming to your site. There's been historically, I think there's been a lot of focus on getting new customers, new leads, and so on. But we're seeing more and more of a shift toward personalizing the experience for your customers and even for new folks. Thinking a couple examples would be, think in terms of, say you're selling golf clubs and every golf club that's in a particular person's bag, right? But maybe they don't have a certain wood or a certain iron. You can market to them and offer those particular clubs they don't have. Or imagine a T-shirt. If you know that they're an extra large or a large tall, then you can target your emails to them, or even your messaging, or when they come to the site, targeting those things. So on-site pop-ups, follow people around. Of course, you want cooking, making sure you have the pixels or cookies on your site correctly is important for that. But also making sure you do it in a GDPR compliant way, right? So these are just some of the apps and folks that we've been using for that. MailChimp has really great ways of segmenting your email content to specific customers, especially based on their purchase history, right? Getting that conversion tracking on your website, so if it flows through back to your ESP, is important. Next slide. And really retargeting ads too should be a channel, right? It's email is a way to distribute your content. Remarketing or retargeting ads can be another way to distribute content. So influencer marketing is another, really big opportunity here. Different metrics or statistics have shown that on average, if for every dollar you spend in influencer marketing, you'll get a 650 back. So that's pretty good return on your money. Even 60% of the video views on Facebook are being created by influencers, right? Some of the other things I like to point out, we all don't have time to create content, right? Video, marketing. We have time for webinars occasionally, but they're creating content for you. So setting it up in a way where you can use it on your site, but also they can promote it on their channels. It's really important. And also, I think we all know that referrals are always the best customer, right? People, word of mouth, right? So having, if you think of influencers in terms of associating with you, recommending your products, getting it in their hands and so on, that's going to lead to really good sales because they trust that person's, choices or curating. It's also really important, I think, to not just influencers, but, across your site, if you're part of associations or, different verticals that you're getting listed on different sites and that you're kind of sharing each other's content and commenting on it. So having a strategy to kind of reach out to those folks and figure out who your people are and where do you want to be, what are business verticals or other companies that are kind of right there alongside you, those partners. Sharing with those folks can help you get into exposure into those other verticals as well. And then lastly, I would say, as you think in terms of, expanding, widely to the world, getting lots of referrals, whether influencers or otherwise, it is really important to think about in terms of how, you're making the world a better place these days, right? There's a lot of, going back to Tom's and they're giving away the shoes every time you buy one, or sustainability. I think, natural fabrics are really doing well these days. So versus plastic, but different good or if you kind of donate to different nonprofits or things, people want to know that you're a good company to spend their money with, right? People more and more are thinking in terms of voting with their dollars, so give them a good reason to feel good about spending money with you. Next slide. And then AI, I know we couldn't have a webinar without talking about AI. I know it's kind of a buzzword these days, but with ChatGPT, really AI is here now, right? As of late last year. So you got to do it, but how you do it, is really kind of it's an undiscovered country, right? So think in terms of wrangling AI or conducting it. How can you employ it in things like personalization or in different statistics or metrics, content creation, right? If you're not relying on influencers to create it or internal folks, right? AI can be really good at generating pretty good content that you really should then still edit and modify. But that blank page, right? Fear of the blank page, AI can help at least give you a first draft, and then you can run with it from there. You can also generate images, with or without models these days. Probably need to leave the hands out of the picture for now, but that's just going to get better and better over time, right? And then from a support perspective, right, the having good literature so that people can get the help they need, and kind of having some machine learning to learn what articles are most helpful and which ones aren't, right? That's all good stuff to do with AI. And then also even product suggestions these days, right? Historically, you could either manually choose the similar products, or if you can, with some sites like BigCommerce, you can use similar categories, right? Other products in that category. But right, everybody's used to that Amazon shopping experience. Customers who bought this also bought that, right? The more we can employ AI, especially for those of you that have larger catalogs, that's going to go a long way to increasing, the average order value and things like that. Next slide. And then I think we're also seeing, right, we're seeing a lot of our customers, clients having multiple sites, right, and multiple marketplaces. So a lot of people might have a B2B site and a B2C site, which obviously have very different, functional requirements. But really, you can have as many sites as it makes sense to, right? So if you want to have a site that focuses on particular brands or particular categories, you can, or if you have multiple companies, right, you can have multiple sites. And each site, right, Google is going to look at that and see what is the content that's in the navigation, that's in the homepage page title, that is recurring, right? And they kind of put you in different categories. So having multiple sites, as long as you can administer it, is can be a great way to get good organic traffic, and also to give people a very specific, shopping experience, right? You can A/B test things and so on. And then additional marketplaces, right? I mean, Amazon and Walmart and even Etsy and folks they're driving so much content to their site, whether even commercials and online ads and so on. So being on those marketplaces allows you to leverage all that content that they're already driving, right? And Amazon's got their free shipping, Walmart too, and I think Jen's going to talk about Target Plus. And so, and I think I heard that Amazon gets like 2.1 million unique site visits each month, or I'm sorry, each day, and that 85% of those customers are open to new brands and products. So really, you want to be able to try each of those and kind of see what works for you. Even eBay, right? Certain businesses do better with eBay, but it's the administration of those that I think people get overwhelmed by. And so, we've got different integration partners that we, and certain ERPs have, add-ons or built-in connectors that you can really administer it in a way that's not too much, right? And you can lean on folks like us or others to help you with that administration. But there's no reason to not have, seven-legged stool never falls over, right? So the more marketplaces, more websites you have, it can really build up to a critical mass as long as it, can be administered relatively, easily. All right, next slide. I think it might be our poll next. Yeah, poll number 2.
Yes, so we'd appreciate your participation in our second poll asking what's the biggest challenge you face in your e-commerce practice? So we know there might be some other answers out there. This isn't all encompassing, but is it driving traffic and conversions? Is it, getting that integration with your ERP, the bandwidth of your internal staff, or hiring challenges, or, getting that data and insights from the data you do have? So great participation. Thank you everyone for answering. We'll leave this open a bit longer. And Seth, I think we're going to be across the board, but I do see some popularity.
Yeah. It's like driving traffic and conversions is tough. Yeah, it's always an ongoing battle, making that cost effective. You can burn through an inheritance with Google Ads, that's for sure. And then the ERP integration, yeah, that's it's definitely a huge part.
Let's see what these results are. So a pretty close tie for driving traffic and conversions and the e-commerce and ERP integration.
Great. Talking about that a little bit more later, but yeah. Thanks for everybody's participation in that.
Okay. And I think we're going to pass it over to Jenna now to speak about the omni-channel opportunity.
Take it away, Jenna.
Yes, I would love to. First, I just want to make sure you guys can hear and see me.
We can.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
That's all that matters. You guys have the slides. That's the most important. So first I want to talk to you about what is the omni-channel opportunity? When you guys think about where are you advertising now? Where are you selling now? What could you be doing better? What could you be doing different? That's what we're here to kind of guide and help you with. So I know, Alex, if you guys are driving that, but I would love to help go to the next slide. So shoppers are discovering and buying products across diverse channels. If you think about yourself as a consumer, where do you first see a net new product? I know for me, recently, it was the first time I've ever seen a product for the first time and purchased it. And that was on TikTok. And it was very rare for me. Normally, I want to do my research. I'm going to ensure that I'm making sure I understand what is the product, where is it coming from, do I feel comfortable purchasing it. But It's now this shopper attainment, right? There's this new kind of world of how do you first understand what a product is? When's the first time you see it? When's the first time you have the opportunity to purchase it? If you look at it from a merchant perspective, there's a million pieces of the pie of where you could be present. And it's a matter of like, what is that revenue that you're driving, whether it's owned, whether it's directly to your e-commerce store, whether it's coming from an advertising channel, or that checkout is happening on a marketplace or social commerce. So skip to the next slide and let's talk about how omni-channel is not an option. It's an imperative. It's a matter of you have to have it. It is not an option. It's a matter of how you're doing it and can you do it better. So let's look at the next slide and let's talk about where I believe you can make the biggest influence. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is fast approaching. Holiday season is fast approaching. When you look at your return on ad spend, where is that opportunity for you guys as a merchant, as a brand? It's really about, do you have the quality data that's going to affect a return on ad spend? So let's talk about what that could be and how you could potentially affect it in a more positive light. If you remember nothing else from today, this is the one slide I want you to remember. Feedonomics helps 30% of the internet top retailers ensure that they get the best return on ad spend. Let's look at someone like a Nike. If I'm a user and I'm searching for a men's Nike Air Max 2017 in steel size 12, what is Google going to serve me as a response? If I am Nike and I'm on the Nike website, I probably don't have Nike in the title. Probably don't have Nike and a lot of the data that I'm pushing to an advertising social commerce marketplace because you're on the Nike website. You're in the men's category. Like, why am I adding those unnecessary, you would think, keywords from the user description and from a user story, right? Like how they're getting there. Well, let's look at the bottom. 95 cents a click. Now let's add in the brands. Now it's going to 75 cents a click. Now let's add in men's. You start to add in more non-branded keywords or branded keywords, and you see that cost per click going down from 95 cents to 55 cents. It's almost cutting that in half. And this is just one aspect of how you can optimize the product data that you're sending. This is just the title. Never mind the description, the category, and all the back end you can do to ensure that you have the right governance rules. If you're just looking at the title, you can cut it in half in a Nike situation to be able to get better return on ad spend. Now imagine what you could do for your potential brand. And this is one of the biggest benefits and one of, I think, the biggest misses. Most brands, merchants, they send the same blanket product data to every channel, whether that be Amazon, Walmart, TikTok, Snapchat, Meta, etc. Google, they're sending the same information. If you're not optimizing it for the channel you're sending it to, you're not optimizing it for success. So let's talk about another option. Alex, if you don't mind going to the next slide. Keywords matter. We talked all about this. Let's go to the next slide. Alex, let's skip the next one. So where does Feedonomics sit? If you have different information in your inventory or ERP, or your e-commerce catalog, or maybe you have different information from a product information standpoint, from your PIN. How are all these different sources of information going to optimize and give you the best data for all these different channels? Feedonomics sits right in that middle as a transformation engine to ensure that you're ingesting all the data from the sources, optimizing it, and spitting it out to the right channels in the right places. We obviously work with some of the top internet 30,000. We talked about this. Let's continue on. I'm going to go to the category. Product listing, talked about it. Next one. This is one of my favorite real life examples ever. We had a BigCommerce customer decided, I'm not going to use Feedonomics and I'm going to wait until after holiday season. Their hero product was a short sleeve t-shirt. Now, they weren't sending any incorrect information to Google, but the information they were sending had short in the title, short in the description. So Google's AI was putting them in the shorts as in pants category because short and short and short were title and the description, etc. Nothing that the merchant or brand was sending was incorrect, but it wasn't optimized for the channel because it was dumping into the overall men's apparel when it should have been drilling down to the right hierarchy of the subcategory that would give them the most views, the most clicks, the most conversions. And that is where I see the biggest opportunity for 98% of customers within the first 60 days is being miscategorized by the wrong hierarchy. There's no incorrect information, they're just not drilling down deep enough. So if you're sending the same information to Amazon and to Google and to Meta and to TikTok, it's not optimized for all those different channels. So you want to ensure that you have accurate product categorization. That's typically within the first 30 to 60 days from when you go live on Feedonomics where you're going to see the biggest impact. And this is where there's so much room for improvement. And if you're not sure, Alex, we're going to have to keep skipping all the way down to the end. I'm going to get to the nitty gritty of this. Keep going, go like 5 slides down. So if you're not sure what this means for you, where are you sitting? How could you do better as a merchant, as a brand, to have a better brand experience for your merchants? We all know it's great to serve up the right products in the right ad or the right opportunity when someone's searching for it. We all know from a merchant perspective, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to ensure that that happens. Whether it's making sure your ads fire and making sure that you have all the right shipping, whether it's 1P, 3P, whether you have the right taxes, the right shipping. There's a million things from the merchant experience that need to happen to ensure that your end consumer has a wonderful experience that you're thinking of from one merchant. Keep going, keep going. We're gonna get to the end, Alex. We're gonna show them, keep going. We're gonna show them like the secret at the end. If you're debating, keep skipping all the way through till the very end. If you want, like, let me go all the way down to, you get to a product feed. If you're unsure, is my feed being categorized correctly? Do I have the right non-branded keywords? What's the health of my data? I don't know. How do you know? Get a complimentary feed audit. Whether you work with Feedonomics or not, doesn't matter to me personally. But analyze your Google shopping feed. I was agency side 13 years before I came to BC and Feedonomics. One of the biggest benefits that I had from the Feedonomics team was just to know. Before Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday season, what is the health of your data? Where are you sitting at? You could download your Google Merchant feed, or if you skip to the next slide, you can download any one of your data from a marketplace and understand where that complimentary feed's coming from. And same way you were in grade school, from an A to an F, we're going to grade you and say, this is good, this is bad. Whether you go speeder or not, you're gonna have this actionable data you're gonna work on immediately to understand how to rectify the situation that you're in. Now you don't know where you're sitting, you don't know how to help yourself. Scan this QR code, get a complimentary omnichannel consult. Lay on our couch, talk about this is what I'm doing now, this is my current media mix. I don't know if I'm getting the most bang for your buck. Before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday season, this is the time to understand where your data lies. Because if you don't do it now, you're not going to be able to do it till next year. So figure out what's the health of your data now. Figure out how can you optimize that product information now. And ensure you are helping your merchants. If you are a merchant, you are helping your brands get the most bang for your buck. And if you would like to do a complimentary consult, we've got a full team waiting to help you. Download that information. We'd love for you to know just a health check before you go into the holiday season.
Thank you, Jenna. I think we're going to pass it over now to Seth to talk a little bit about, strategies and tactics.
Yeah, thanks, Jenna. That's great. Good stuff. That free audit is can be very largely helpful to get that score. Know you could do better. So yes, kind of lastly, I think we're going to be able to give you guys some time back today, but strategy over tactics. I don't know if any of you are down with the differences on that, but you want to not just try different things, right? A lot of times from our customers, clients, they just try different stuff, aren't necessarily measuring it terribly well. And maybe try Google Ads once and it didn't work. I don't think we got any business. Or we want to with e-commerce and online marketing, right? We have the data, we have the metrics, right? Even with these feeds, as we're sending them into the thing, we have all the data, right? So we want to be making sure that we're measuring things right, getting the KPIs we need, but we want to have really strong strategies as far as not just how to get new leads from Google or otherwise, but how to increase the CLV, the commercial lifetime value of our customers, have a strategy for that as well, right? How are we going to reach out to them over time? Do we have to do sales? When do we reach out? When's a good time? What different initiatives work? If we personalize things, is it helpful? Are we increasing our conversions with our existing customers and new customers? And from an evergreen content perspective, this is another one of those long-term things that we're thinking about. You really need to know what keywords are the best for you from whether a category perspective or even on your homepage. What are those golden keywords that if somebody puts that in Google, it's always going to convert for us, or we know that we have a really good shot there. So we want to be building evergreen content that we're always adding value to, and those URLs stay the same pretty much, and we just kind of keep going after it, adding more and more and more, driving traffic to it. We want to be executing an email strategy that makes sense and is not too obnoxious, right? And people are used to it. Maybe you're doing too many sales, right, with your customers, and they just kind of wait on that. So how can you address that situation? And we want to be competitive, right? We don't just want to rest on our laurels. We want to be competitive. We want to try new things. A lot of times, newer marketing platforms have, not everybody's there yet, so they're not as expensive. Influencer marketing, you can get a lot done there for a lot of bang for your buck versus Google ads, right? Have been around a long time, and especially search ads can be very expensive, right? All the more reason to know what actually converts. And then also I would say, you can't do it all yourself, right? I heard somebody say once, if I was going to hire somebody to execute on all these different things, right, that would cost me $500,000 of salaries, right? Well, what you can do, and what we're seeing more and more as well in 2023, is relying on specialists, right? There's folks that can help you manage your Amazon store. There's folks like us that help you manage your Google Ads or SEO or your integration, or helping you administer multiple websites or marketplaces and so on. So, and then there's Feedonomics that can help you manage your data feed, make sure you're getting, again, the most bang for your buck in there, that you're providing all the data that's needed, make sure you're showing up well, make sure you're winning. So we want to help you. We see ourselves as special forces that, because we're doing this for a number of customers. If you think about, I don't know if you would put your own hardwood floors in at your house, you might try, but then you're going to know all the, where all the mistakes were. But for me, I'd rather rely on the person that does it all day, every day, and is operating from a place of excellence. You can stand on the shoulders of giants, and lessons learned, mistakes we might have made in the past that we know how to correct now. So that's my last thing I would just offer to you guys is, we'd love to have a meeting with you and talk about how we can help you, what kind of strategies we could put in play, and how we can maximize your ad spend, how we can optimize your product feeds, our email marketing, and all that. And so I think I think we maybe have one more poll and then a Q&A, but that's pretty much it for us today.
Yes, Seth is right. So we are about to move into Q&A, but we'd appreciate, some insights into what are your next steps in this e-commerce, journey. So we just touched base on some of the parts of e-commerce. Are you working to modernize your site? Do you want to learn more about SWK and Feedonomics services? Are you just here to learn, get some more information? So we appreciate everyone that's answered that so far. We're going to leave it open for just a bit longer, and then we're going to go into our Q&A. Okay, thank you, everyone. I think I see a couple responses still coming in, so then we're going to close this out. Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're still getting a lot of activity here, so I'm just going to leave the poll open for just a little bit longer.
Sure. If anybody's wondering, this is the Peabody Library in Baltimore. It is not Rome or anything. I need help looking smart, so that's why I use this background.
It's working for you, Seth. Okay, let's move on to Q&A now. We're going to close out this poll. So thank you, everyone who answered. So now, as we go into Q&A, we've got a couple of things for you. So thank you, Seth and Jenna, both. If you have any questions, please enter them in the questions section of your GoToWebinar panel. And we have, just a reminder, we have some subject matter experts here. So this is an excellent opportunity to have your questions answered in real time. And while I'm at it, let me add that you might have noticed a QR code on your screen. So while you're getting your questions in, I just wanted to share some information about our Be an E-commerce Master educational series. The series is a no-cost compilation of expert teachings for businesses to develop or grow online storefronts. The series is going to include easy-to-read infographics, solution overviews, product tours, deep dive white papers, first and third-party research and analysis, as well as additional live webinars. So you can sign up for the series by scanning the QR code on your screen or letting us know in the post-webinar survey. And like I said, this is all super educational. If you go to that QR code, you'll see that we have a free infographic available for download, addressing 12 challenges and solutions e-commerce businesses face today. Okay, Seth, I think I've got some questions for you, so let's get started.
All right.
And Jenna, chime back in if we've got a question listing your way. So Seth, my first question for you is, what level of involvement is required from our company if we use your services?
Yeah, that's a good question. I get that one quite a bit. So, the main thing is, we could use help from a product perspective, people who know the products, if it's working with the manufacturer to get a feed or, training manuals or images, right, or unique content, we could use your help with that. But really, when it comes to kind of administering the flow of orders and customers and so on, right, we can really help with that. We can help with within the marketplaces or in the sites, administering that. You can help with the front back end development, creating a good looking site and so on, things like that. But yeah, when it comes to kind of the core product knowledge, we do tend to need somebody on your side that can help us there. And I would also just add, whatever resources you have, we can just think of us as supplementing that, right? So if you also have a marketing person who has their area of expertise, happy to work with them. But quite often, we don't usually see any one customer that has everything covered, right? So, we want to be a key part of your team without you needing to hire, people per se.
Great, thank you, Seth. Also, another question revolving around our services. So, do we handle integrations?
Yeah, great question. So at SWK, we support a few different ERPs, including Acumatica, Sage 100, Sage Intacct. So we do have partners we use for those integrations that we've been through a number of times. Acumatica also has its own BigCommerce, Shopify, and Amazon connectors that we can leverage and integrate very well. And then, if you have Woo or something else, Magento, there are integrations for that we can also assist with. And there's iPass's integration platforms as a service that we use, like Celigo, to help administer those integrations as well.
I think also it's important to know a lot of times when we do enterprise omni consults, the biggest thing people are talking about is when are they going to adopt net new channels? And it's because it's a Herculean endeavor, they feel, to be able to ensure they're doing it right, they have the right data, and they're capturing the right information, they're fulfilling the right orders. The beauty of when you work with
Oh, I think we lost Jenna's
Lost you a
audio.
little bit there, Jenna.
Okay, I think we might go on to the next question. If we get that audio back, we'll.
Sure.
Okay. Our next one is, what is the main difference between using this versus the built-in sales channels on BigCommerce / Shopify, etc.?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think with Feedonomics, there's a lot more like rules you can set up, and then they also will help you. They actually provide services to help you clean those up. So kind of getting some services, almost think of them as like your product feed department versus just kind of hooking up the base connectors. It'll get the data in there, but will it really be optimized, right? Will things get in the right categories? Will get all the right fields populated? I think when you use those base connectors, you have to know what Amazon or Target Plus or whatever them you have to know their requirements more. Feedonomics, again, going back to the having your floors put in by the people who do it all the time, they know all those marketplaces and kind of the key fields and the things that need to be done. They've seen it all. They will get to know your products really well and make sure that the feed's getting populated the way it needs to and that it's optimized so that you're gonna win auctions and show up well in searches and also that your ads, if you're advertising in Amazon, for example, that you will get in there. They also have a proprietary, I think, relationship with Target Plus, who's a little more selective than Walmart Plus. So they can also even get you into those channels if your type of products are the right fit. So definitely some advantages to working with Feedonomics. Worth trying it, getting things optimized, and then and seeing how it improves your sales versus using the base connectors. Jen, I don't know if you're
Great.
back and want to add anything.
Looks like we might still have some audio issues from Jenna.
Okay, no problem.
But thank you for covering that. And also too, I want to mention that I know we skipped through some slides earlier on. And if you want to go back, the slide deck is included as a handout, so you can download that if you want to take a closer look at some of those slides that touch on this and why Feedonomics and the processes there. And as always, SWK is always available. If you're a current customer, you can reach out to your rep. If you're interested in learning more, you can always email us at info@swktech.com, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. And I think that's going to be our last question, unless we get a last minute submission here. But while I wait to see if we have any more come in for Seth, I want to just say thank you to everyone for taking the time to be with us today. Thank you to Seth and Jenna for, giving us this great information and these insights into, how to have a modern, successful B2C commerce practice. So thank you all. We'll send out the recording tomorrow, as well as information about our gift card offer. So thank you to everyone who joined, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.